Hey guys, just wanted to post this because again, recently I've been, or God's been gracious to me. I've been able to pray more for the US, for Australia, and just pray about this time. That's obviously a serious one for obvious reasons. And so, in that context, this morning I just woke up to a brief dream, but a dream I feel is important, something to pray about, but also possibly something that's encouraging as well as challenging. So in the dream, I was at the White House, and it seemed like I was at the back of the White House, and it seemed like I was at the back of the White House, usually like so in the Rose Garden where the president gives obviously important addresses to the nation and to the press. And it seemed like he was there, but he was also under like the portico, like near the windows, so under a covering. And so in the dream, it was very interesting as well. Before Trump came to speak, I was actually expecting someone else, and I knew as I was at the West Wing, but it seemed like I was expecting someone else, like a different president or a different authority figure to come out. But then Trump came out, and he said so two sentences, and they were straightforward, but I believe they were really meaningful. Firstly, he said, "I have put America under state control." In other words, under the control of the states. And then he said, "I have always been America's president." And so that's where that's where the dream ended, guys. I woke up and immediately, my personal opinion, and again, this is just my opinion. We have to be careful with making a difference between what the Lord shows us sometimes and our opinion, obviously. But I was thinking, so with the upcoming election, maybe there's going to be, further unrest, further rioting, or whatever causes it. But maybe there's going to be great unrest across the US, and it will mean that Trump will have to, in some way, either directly or indirectly, cede some kind of control, or at least give more power to the states so that they can bring that unrest under control. Or it may have been, and a friend told me this, and I think this could be the case, that, in the dream I was expecting someone else. And so, we know with dreams that we can see something literally, it can also have it can have a literal meaning, it can also have a spiritual one. And that it could have actually been the Lord saying, "Listen, I have always been the president of the United States," because Donald Trump has obviously not always been the president of the United States. There's been different presidents. And so it could have been a real encouragement here, guys, that the Lord is saying, "Listen, I am the one who is sovereign over the United States." And obviously we know that's biblical anyway. No matter what country, the Bible talks about, the Lord is the one that raises up leaders and brings them down. And in another place, it talks about in the Old Testament that the Lord is the one that directs the hearts of kings as a watercourse, or like a watercourse. So he directs it wherever he will for his will. And so anyway, guys, it seems likely, and again, this is just my opinion. You interpret it how you want, and pray about this. Obviously, it could play it in different ways, but it seems like whether currently or soon to come, there's going to be a time where God, through Donald Trump, perhaps gives more power to the states of the US because of unrest, maybe because this upcoming election is going to bring, is going to make a few people angry, no matter which way it goes. I believe God, from another dream, God wants Donald Trump in. We know what's happening at the moment with the Supreme Court justice. Roe v. Wade could be overturned. It shows that God, so some encouragement here, guys, it shows that God is in control. And, some like to talk a lot, and God does reveal a lot about judgment. The Lord's shown me a lot about judgment, but guys, we've got to remember God's heart is not to do that. God's heart is to want to bless and to want to save from judgment. That's why with Sodom and Gomorrah, um, you know, he has Abraham come and intercede for that even a wicked city like that. And we know, guys, that the America has had incredible godly roots. And in the dream for Donald Trump to say, "Oh, I've always been America's president," to be symbolic, I believe, of God saying he is the one that is ultimately leading the U.S. And so, guys, even if there's unrest coming, if there's a great shaking coming to the states of the US soon, to America soon, be encouraged that I believe that, God is probably saying here, listen, it's okay, I'm still in control. And, yeah, again, Trump in the dream says, "I put America under state control." So I think that means under the control of individual states. And I've always been America's president. And guys, just an encouragement as well, because I am from Australia. Obviously, you could tell by my accent. Just with what has happened with COVID in recent times, and I know people have different opinions about this. That's fine. But and COVID, I don't want to make light of what's happened, because COVID has obviously affected many businesses and people have gotten sick and that kind of thing. But as an example, here in Australia, our government runs our nation by and large, but we have individual states that are led by different leaders, and their approach. So the Queensland Premier Anastasia Palaszczuk and other leaders as well in New South Wales and different states have kind of had their own approach to COVID. And so, again, people have different opinions about this, but by and large, it seems to have worked well in driving the numbers down, in getting our economy through this. And so each state have had their own. Like Victoria was an extreme example where they had to lock things down, or Danielle Andrews, the leader there, believed they had to lock things down in a huge way. And so they did, because they were getting a lot of cases in elderly homes and that kind of thing. And, it's gone from hundreds of cases a day to 10 cases now. So by and large, it's worked. In Queensland, similarly, we haven't had the same kind of lockdown, but each state have done their own approach, and it's worked really well. So COVID's obviously been serious. What is coming, maybe this election, and or further on in the next president's time in office, who I believe God has revealed it will be Donald Trump. I could be wrong, but I believe that's what God has shown me, or that's at least what God wants us to pray for, and to believe is going to happen. So be encouraged. Serious times are here, but good things have been happening, and particularly with the new Supreme Court Justice, this could be absolutely a massive turning point, guys. Judgment that previously was probably set with an overruling like that, it's very likely that huge judgment might be averted. So really keep praying. Nothing's happened yet in terms of Roe v. Wade, obviously, but it's hopeful, and God may be really stirring the hearts of his people here in Australia, in America, to pray. I think recently there was a huge prayer gathering in Washington of combined churches and Franklin Graham and that kind of thing. So, good things are happening. And when the enemy comes in like a flood, God raises up a standard against him. But keep praying for his people, keep praying for the US, that we would be really seeking God at this time, and that we would have great mercy. We're all sinners. We need, whether it's on an individual scale or as nations, we need great mercy. We fail, we get it wrong, but his blood is sufficient for us. And we're praying that for the nations as well, that there'd be great revival and reformation and those kind of things. So, guys, keep praying. Again, we could be in for a serious time with the US election. I believe there are still serious things ahead that God has shown me. but there could be great mercy in store as well. And God is sovereign over the US. And so don't be shaken by the things that may come in the days ahead, even if the states get more power and different things are going on in different states in the US. Don't be afraid about it, because God is in control and He's working all things together with His will and for good. So, guys, God bless you. Serious days, but great days as well if we continue to press in, and we'll see God move. Okay, bless you. See ya.